Hey y'all, welcome back to another unfiltered conversation about creativity, about the industry, content creators, that whole creative space. We're back with Blake Martin.
What's up?
If you haven't seen the first one, we kind of talked about our story a little bit, how we kind of met and are involved in this industry, what we do now, our experience interning at some of the biggest churches in the world, and the introduction into this. And so we're basically continuing that conversation the second time around. We're going to dive a little bit this time into social media and just talking about that side of the industry. What I've got some questions here. I'm just going to dive right in. So what are some of your hot takes on social media trends? What are your opinions on social media as a whole, with how things are like being run now as a videographer, a business owner, an individual? The whole side of it, just a whole rant. Just go.
I'm going to say like probably the most basic, but yet the strongest hot take of them all. I am not a fan of the reel train. I'm not a huge fan of how many reels I see, or the popularity, or the how viral they are. I love reels. I love watching it. I love TikTok. Like I love watching the funniest 20-second video. Like I miss Vine, so like this is like the rebirth of that. Mm-hmm. But I think it's gotten to a point to where that's all people really care about. And if it's a photo dump for a church recap, people aren't really going to see that as much anymore. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of it. I wish there was that balance. I feel like we had it for a little bit early on, when TikTok first was created or whatever. But now I feel like it's gotten to a point where Facebook is doing this too. YouTube Shorts is happening too. But I will say the flip side, disclaimer, the flip side of this, it is great business for videographers. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy.
It's easy to do free marketing, free advertising.
Absolutely.
In a real easy way. Whereas in the past, it was more photo focused. Mm-hmm. I would probably 100% agree. I think not everyone seems to love it. I think the minute TikTok came around, everyone was nervous, like with a new social media platform. Yeah. What do we do with it? But I think it's weird that every single platform took it on. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like Instagram for me covers all the boxes, mm-hmm. but I feel like there's some people that are on TikTok more, so you got to post the same thing on all platforms. Mm-hmm. And if you're somebody that keeps up with creators on different platforms, then it gets annoying seeing the same thing. So I didn't even think
about that.
Mm-hmm. It's nice that you can repurpose content, but if like some of the creators I follow on like Instagram Threads, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I see the same video 4 times on the following section of it. But I do love a good laugh every once in a while. I'm on TikTok just as much as the next guy. My screen time went up and still is. But I think there's obviously some downsides to it. I think content, the way it's done, has changed a whole lot, not in some positive ways since TikTok came along. Mm-hmm. Some in positive ways, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just annoying. It's like too fast. It's too fast paced. It's all in your face, and people can't focus now. It's changed.
It's the endless scroll.
Yep. It's the brain rot content, which we did not have before. It's changing you mentally.
Your attention span.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you don't get their attention within the first 5 seconds, they're gone.
Yeah.
I think it's even less than that now. I think it's like, 3 seconds?
Something 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Some milliseconds. I don't know.
It's insane. And I will also say when Instagram, because I don't follow that many people, I would say, but once you get through and you've scrolled through all of your followers' stuff, it goes to suggested reels. And some of my friends don't have this, so I don't know if it's an update or an upgrade. I don't know what it is specifically, but like mine turns into reels after I scroll for so long. It could just be because I'm on it for 4 hours. So I don't know. Do you have that issue?
I did when I first joined, and
Mhm.
I wasn't following a lot of people, but I haven't seen it much since then. I
It
mean,
could just be a me issue. I don't know. That could just be a hot take
I
in
mean,
itself.
TikTok will tell you to literally to go to sleep because you've been on the app too long. But
I love the little TikTok ads at 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm doom scrolling, and it's like, hey, have you thought about taking a break? Do you
I'm
have
like,
those?
I have. I'm not going to.
I'm
Leave me
like, you
alone.
don't have to call me out like that, TikTok.
Exactly.
You want me on your app for longer, so
Let's be for real.
insane.
So, which one has been your favorite app, long term or recently? With the frustrations,
Okay, this kind of goes along with some hot takes. Facebook is probably my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, there's always a flip side to it. Like that's where I think the most potential for word of mouth, like business wise, like most of my business as a wedding videographer specifically has grown tremendously through word of mouth through Facebook. People sharing the wedding videos and highlights and trailers and all that kind of thing on
So
Facebook.
you post on Facebook. What would you say the demographic for that is? Because I haven't noticed that. Most of mine would come from Instagram,
That is
but I'm also
interesting.
doing some different type of
Yeah.
content. I think that age-wise, there's different people in each one.
Mhm,
Have you
mhm.
experienced that?
I think 28 to 65 would probably be the age range of normal or average users for Facebook. And because, especially people in my area, are getting married between like 27 and 36. So, majority of them, like, I'll see people from my hometown all the time say, hey, I'm looking for a South Georgia photographer, videographer, caterer. Who do you have? And word of mouth comes in. Boom, 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 boom. Well, I love this person. I love this person. So I think there's that good side of it. But then on the other side, I just deal with so many issues with Facebook.
Yeah, why is
Glitches,
Facebook
Facebook
your
live
least favorite?
crashes. I'm getting reported for spam when I'm a real person. I'm right here. I break community guidelines for not saying anything. So there's a lot of like miscommunication, misinterpretation on Facebook's admin, like the back end of Facebook, that I'm just not a huge fan of. So that would be my least favorite.
And you don't experience that with Instagram because it's
No,
the same company.
Instagram is my favorite.
I would second that. Well, maybe.
Whoa.
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
So Instagram's your favorite.
Yes.
Facebook's your least favorite.
Yes.
Any others that you'd throw in there?
TikTok is right above Facebook.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
I hate posting on TikTok. I love watching TikTok.
I love
The system, the way it's laid out for creators, maybe just on your smartphone is fine if you're editing with CapCut, but for people who are trying to edit and like their wedding videos
Yeah.
and they're trying to promote the business side of it in like a good quality kind of way, not just like iPhone style content, terrible. Terrible
Absolutely.
experience. That having to have a trending audio for it to go viral, whereas I can post the same video on Instagram and it gets twice the amount of
Yep.
views. I don't understand those sides of it. I feel like I should, being relatively young in this space, but
And that goes back to the previous conversation about the fast paced.
yep,
Like, that's just something that you're just supposed to know about all of these other apps that are being
yeah.
created.
You're just supposed to know how to use it, and user interfaces I just think is terrible on TikTok. The TikTok shop, what on earth?
What
that
in
looks?
the world
It
is
looks
that?
like some Temu. You're going to get scammed immediately.
That was
and then they
Temu
say
was
it's
in my mind.
fine.
Yes. No, yeah, that's
something
insane.
there is something fishy with TikTok.
For
They've got to
sure,
be.
for sure.
I said one word on a phone call, and it's all in my feed now. I'm like, why are you listening that closely? Because I didn't get that same thing on any other platform, but TikTok was listening.
It's kind of scary nowadays. I will say, as a consumer, least favorite Facebook, favorite is Instagram.
Yep.
As a business owner slash creative content creator or whatever, I would definitely say I've been hopping on the LinkedIn train. I know it's not really social media, but it is for business owners.
I like the way that LinkedIn is laid
I
out.
love LinkedIn.
For
And
professionalism, I've had problems with posting. I see all the time people I know are posting what their like projects they're working on. It's good for their resume. I've tried doing the same thing, linking projects that we've worked on here, like stuff I'm decently proud of. I will go through the whole thing. I'll type a caption.
yeah,
I'll give it a thumbnail. I'll hit post. It'll say like, okay, it's loaded. I'll refresh. And this has happened multiple times and just nothing happens.
mm-hmm.
Nothing gets posted. My feed is still empty. It won't let me post.
Yeah.
So that's been frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had that problem?
With LinkedIn, you said
Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
If I'm doing something wrong, tell me.
I have no idea. I'm new to LinkedIn. Again, I just found out
Probably
about it
same.
like 6 months ago. So I have not ran into that problem yet. But I've just loved how, like you said, it's just strictly business. But as I transition out of wedding videography and am going into more corporate videography, with like brand stories and commercials and different things like that, I have found that that is where the market is. Finding marketing directors who I can build a relationship with and start a conversation, letting them know that I'm a resource for them. And all I have to do is press the little connect button and send a little note and say,
that is
hey,
nice.
this is who I am. This is what I do.
Well,
We should chat. You know what I mean?
and if you're doing more corporate business
Yeah.
type stuff and working with some of those people that are older than probably we are, I've noticed majority of some of the inquiries for the type of stuff I'm doing will come in through Instagram. They'll ask how they can get connected to me. 9 times out of 10, I have to send them to the website first. Some stuff happens in person. I've started using an electronic business card. People love it.
What?
That you just tap it to their phone. It does like the NFT tag. It takes them straight to your contact and your website, which I love. But for me, posting on TikTok, hey, consuming content, Instagram is probably my favorite. I'm on YouTube all the time now. I just still really appreciate growing up with it, but also because of how much stuff is just in your face now, I appreciate some slow form content
Yeah.
that's not like a high energy show either. I just
Yeah.
love watching people do their lives. I will watch a 45-minute day in the life, week in the life vlog of some of these people, and it's relatable. I
Yeah.
love it. I'll sit down, I'll pop popcorn, and I will watch the whole thing,
So true.
and I love it. What have you found to be effective in growing on social media in regards to the way that you post, whatever platform it is? Has there been something specific that has helped you grow? Anything specifically, I guess?
I found that over time with church social media specifically, one thing that has helped, that has been effective in growing the different platforms that I oversee is people want to see people. And I can also see that apply to some of the businesses that I've worked with in the past few weeks. But like taking the time to take photos of people smiling while they're greeting people at church, or taking photos with customers showing a personal relationship at an auto center. Like little stuff like that has really grew like the exposure, and like people see people they know, so they share it on Facebook and they're like,
More
oh my
candid
gosh, I
stuff,
saw
yeah.
it. Yes. Yeah. I really see that growing quicker than graphics, like just by themselves.
I've noticed that too.
And
Graphics with people in the background, if you do one of those overlays, something about the
It's
faces
something
even subtly being there, twice the amount of engagement. Graphics get literally nothing.
yeah.
I've noticed that same thing.
And I look into larger churches and smaller churches around my area and across the country just to see, what are other churches doing so that I can help the churches that I lead. And that's just a trend that I've been noticing, is that when you see the likes that they get on Instagram on a graphic post that says a quote versus a picture of someone, handing someone else a first-time visitor card or something, it just gets so much more engagement. And I think it's because people want to see that, like, a real personal connections that they're getting at the place that they're interested in going to.
I would even say there's people I know personally that are doing social media content or trying to, where I just get frustrated because I'm like, you're doing it all wrong, dude. And it should be clear by the engagement you're getting versus stuff also on your page that you know has been doing well. Like, stop doing the same thing. If it's not working, switch it up. And like with my own page, I've noticed there's a couple times where I would try to make kind of a higher produced video with like a gimbal, stuff like that. And then the more behind the scenes day in the life cell phone content that's relatable, people tend to enjoy. I feel like people appreciated that with TikTok in particular. That brought a sense of we have to know that you're a real person kind of first. We're tired of seeing super polished stuff, which I think was the case with the Instagram photo portion. But then TikTok made it super easy to just put stuff out all the time. And so now you have people putting their whole lives on social media. They just want to be able to relate to people.
That's one thing I've just really been like, when I've really been telling other churches too that I don't even work with, but like I'll go out to eat lunch with another creative director at another church. That's just one thing that I've just been telling people. Like,
Really?
the first thing that comes to mind: take pictures of real people, take photos of kids laughing in their kids ministry. Like, that's what parents want to see. That's what families want to see. They want to have that almost fear of missing out kind of mindset as like oh my gosh, you see those kids, they're having so much fun. I want my kids to have fun. So let me go to that church and, see if that's the case. And same with other businesses. When you see, I'm just going to use a car, like a car wash business, for example. You can throw up a graphic saying, hey, we have 50% off this and that. Or you can show the actual real cars that you've cleaned themselves. You can show photos of you talking with the customers afterwards and seeing their reaction, like things like that. Like, it just
as a video, or put the info in the caption and relay the same message. Yeah,
absolutely. Do you have any like success stories or anything specific, maybe dealing with that or something else on social media that you've seen kind of change your mindset as far as what you prioritize, what you focus on?
That's a good question. I would say, even if there weren't specific videos that got a whole lot of recognition, if you're able to link a trending sound to it, sometimes it does better, but some of it has been real wishy-washy for me. But I've noticed I get the more consistent that I post, the more consistent the growth is too.
Yeah.
When people are used to seeing your face. So I think people kind of know that at this point, but consistency is definitely key. I've noticed that some on my personal page, because it's harder for me to stay consistent with my business page when I don't have stuff coming in, posting on the down season. That's been a struggle for me, is like knowing, how do I continue to grow my business when I don't have stuff really coming in during the dry season? Like, what do I post to promote the business without reposting old stuff 1,000 times so people get tired of seeing it? And then people always tell me to just do passion stuff. And I'm like, I'm already spending my weekends doing half of this.
Yeah.
Anyway, whether it's personal or with everything else, that is a struggle in the industry as a whole. Is like, you got to put in a lot of extra time on the back end to get really good at it. I don't know. Have you noticed that? Aside from like normal business hours that you have to put in even more time on the side?
For sure. Like, again, with wedding videography, since I've done it for a few years, I've kind of built up that, like the backup footage for BTS, for things like that, for when I don't have weddings. But I'm kind of in a different boat of like, I don't have time to edit those. I wish I did. So that has been something that I haven't tried myself, but that I can definitely see, because I definitely see the importance of consistently posting, not posting twice a year, or doing 4 posts in one day.
That's one of my complaints, is like either seeing too much stuff or the pressure to be posting stuff all the time. Otherwise, sorry, you're screwed. That's pretty annoying.
What would you say, like, do you have a schedule for posting, whether it be for the church or for your personal or your business? Like, do you have a specific schedule, like Mondays this, Wednesdays this, or do you just try to hit a certain amount of posts a week? Or
Yes and no. I think business stuff, not really, because there's not enough of my backlog as I can do with personal stuff. So when I do stuff like this, it's a lot easier to just backlog everything or like batch shoot content. And then I can wait a couple days. I can put something simple out first, get a couple things edited, and then I can post for like 4 days. On the third or fourth day, record something else and kind of keep a better routine going. And then schedule-wise, not specific days. I'll kind of plan out 1 week at a time, sporadically, not for like months at a time, because trends are always changing. But I will, anytime I post on any platform for any reason, whether it's my business with work at the church or personally, I will try to post closer towards the evening or like during lunchtime or pretty early in the morning. Just whatever my analytics on Instagram typically says, I'll just go off of that. And then like YouTube, the long form stuff, I'll try to just do pretty consistently at 10 o'clock one Saturday morning, somewhere around there. But for church stuff, we do have a schedule that we stick to, and we'll schedule out different pieces of content. We promote everything. We get promotional material ready, I think, like a month ahead of time. We'll promote it a little bit, and we'll do like a hard push 2 weeks out to make sure registration is full and all that kind of stuff. But for the timing of the posts, unless it's physically been scheduled in like the Facebook database, like our sermon reels are more sporadic, just when I get them edited. I post them on the second half of Monday. But we do have categories, so we use like a content pillar structure. I can't tell you off the top of my head what it is, but something that's like basically, for example, like relatable, something that's educational, something that is just a showcase of the work or that communicates this type of message. And then you can also, after that, apply graphic with a photo or video, do it that way. And then let's not post 4 types of showcasing work in a row. Let's make sure we're doing a different pillar to kind of keep some variety.
I like what you said about the analytics. That's one of my main things that I use to determine when I post is because
Instagram Insights is your best friend. It's right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just look at it.
Like I might post a church Sunday recap on Sunday at 2:00, right after service gets over, and it'll sometimes do good. It'll sometimes do terribly because people are taking Sunday naps and people are still eating lunch and all that kind of stuff, so they're not really looking at their phones a lot. But then I have no idea why, but consistently on Mondays at 7:00, we do a church Sunday recap, and every single time, whether it be families getting their kids to sleep and then they're scrolling on their phones, or like people are getting home from work, and that's just a perfect like Goldilocks time of like they're not asleep yet, but they're chilling around the house. That
home from work, dinner's over.
It's like a 300%
really
like difference. It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, if you find what works, stick to it.
Absolutely. And I've even tried changing it just to test. And that's honestly what I do with any post. It's all about trial and error. Like, I've tried different reels, and I've tried to do, I don't know, you've definitely seen the trend of like the comical, like old Vine video, and then right before it'll transition to something else saying, come to church. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, you got me.
Yeah. It's like the clickbait a little bit. Like I've even tried that. I love those. And I love them too.
They're hilarious.
But it has not worked for all of the churches that I've done it for. So I think another side of it is knowing who your market is.
Who your audience is. Yes. You got to do it right. I've seen people that will try to do it, and it's just a hair too cringy because you didn't time it right, or it wasn't worded right, or I'm like, I see what you're trying to do, but fumbled the bag on that one. I've seen some people do that a little bit, but I'm curious to know, what are your social media rants, whether it be as just a consumer or a business owner? What would be the things that you love and hate about the way that content is done these days, with whether it's like the gear, the platform. I'm curious to just hear people go off on, I'm just tired of the way that this is done in the industry, this, that, and the other. I think we could all kind of talk about that for hours, but this has been a great time.
So much fun.
So much fun with both of the conversations we've been able to have. I hope that we're able to do stuff like this in the future. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming.
Thank you
Blake.
for having me.
Any final insight to take home?
You go first.
I didn't have any.
I used every bit that I had in the past 20 minutes.
Well,
Right.
with that,
So
thanks
true.
for watching.
Peace out.